Okay, so hopefully you guys went and completed the Desmos activity. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you probably want to watch this video first. After the Desmos activity, I want you guys to go ahead and take notes for section 6.4 on inverse functions. So just like we did last week, you can either follow along in the book and take your own notes. You can follow along with the note-taking guide. My key's right here. And also this week, there's now this optional video, notes with video. If you click it, it will take you to a Algebra 2 flipped classroom. Here's a video down here. If you download this file, it has the notes that go along with the video. So you can either, if you want the packet, if you want to print the packet, take them in your own notebook. By no means do you have to print anything. But these notes down here follow along with this guy's video on inverse functions. There's also one of these for tomorrow for cubed, graphing cubed roots and square roots. So this is just a good little website. Up here you can find videos for all of the other topics that we've gone over if those interest you. There's videos, more assignments, practice problems, practice solutions, etc. So that's a good resource down there. I just kind of want to talk to you guys a little bit about inverse functions now that you kind of found what they are. So I left you off with whether or not compositions were cumulative. So does f of g of x equal g of f of x? Not always. Okay, you should have found that that is not always true. When it is true, however, when g of x does equal f of x, okay, so it's not cumulative, but sometimes it does happen. And when it does happen, we have inverse functions. So when we have inverse functions, g of f of x and f of g of x, they both equal x. If you take f of g of x or g of f of x, both of those would equal x. In that case, they would equal each other, and they are inverses, because all that we're left with is x. So f of f inverse of x, if I take f inverse of x, find that, then plug that in for f of x, we get x. Okay, I know that's sometimes confusing, but if you see these examples down here, and this is just continuing off of that page I was looking at earlier. Okay, so when we think of the inverse function, we think about undoing the original function. So we've talked about inverse operations, squaring something, taking the square root, adding and subtracting, multiplying, dividing, etc. Okay, so when we're talking about inverse functions, we're talking about undoing. Okay, so you guys should have solved, when you're trying to find an inverse, is this where I wanted? No, I think if I click here, I linked another page. There we go. This page is also linked. You kind of want to undo it. Or in other words, if I have y equals, so where this says f of x, I'm going to say y equals 2x minus 6. I want to solve for x, or I can flip the y and the x. So then it would be x equals 2y minus 6, and I want to solve for y. So we're finding that inverse function, undoing everything that is done. Okay, when we're talking about domain and range, for the function and the inverse. So the inverse, the domain and range are going to be switched for the function and the inverse. So in my original function, if my domain is 1, 5, and 8, and my range is ABC, the domain for my inverse would be ABC, and my range would be 5, 8, 1. Okay, so those just kind of flip-flop. So hopefully that helps clear up a few things. The inverse of a function, always a function. You should have found that that is not true. So if you want to go through it and read some more of these, you can. If any of you want me to go through the notes, oh, that's not you guys. Here we go. So I can go through the note-taking guide. If you guys have more questions on that, I can upload a video on that tomorrow. You just need to let me know. Those daily check-ins are great for that. So on the do you have any suggestions column or anything you want to tell me, if you want to put that in there, or shoot me an email. Tomorrow, just looking ahead, if you guys are working ahead, tomorrow is when you're going to do your practice problems with the inverses. So if you're doing your notes on the inverse functions and you want to go ahead and get your assignment done, you can go ahead and do that. So your Desmos activity is due today. Well, I guess not today since you have 2 days to do it, but that's what the assignment I'm looking for your grade for Monday, and on Tuesday it is your practice problems. So this should be highlighted, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. But looking forward, there's going to be videos thrown throughout here, so I think right now some of them just say coming soon. But other than that, I look forward to talking to all you guys. Hopefully these videos are helpful. Have a great day. Bye.